Have you ever needed to identify a country on a map but you had no idea where it was? You might have even felt embarrassed about this, but don't worry because in this video you're going to learn how to memorize a country's geography fast and easily with this very simple method. This method uses the three keys to memory: imagination, location, and concentration. With imagination, you're going to be changing the information to an image and create a story out of those images. Then with location, you're going to place that story in a location so you know exactly where that information is. And of course, with concentration, you really want to focus on the story you're creating. You really want to picture it in great detail. Now let's learn the method. So the first step is to change the country's name into an image. So the country we're going to be using as an example is Iceland. And when we look at Iceland, it has ice in its name. So maybe you picture an ice cube. So that's the image we're going to use for this example, an ice cube. The second step is to change the country's landmass into an image. Now, people are going to see different things when they look at kind of like a blob. But you want to use an image that works for you and that stands out to you. So when I look at Iceland, at the top left, I kind of see this ghost scaring someone, saying, "Boo!" And so the image we're going to use for this example is a ghost. Now, the third step is to make a story out of the images. And so with all the stories you create, you want to have a location to store it in. So the location can either come from the images or the country. So based off the ghost image, we're going to use a haunted house as a location. So maybe this is the story you picture. Maybe a ghost is riding an ice cube through the whole haunted house and isn't paying attention to where it's going, and so it crashes into a wall and the ice cube breaks into a million pieces and the ghost starts to cry. So that's the story we're going to picture in order to remember the geographical location of Iceland. Now let's talk about how to recall the information. So there's two ways to recall the information. Either you're given the country's name, you have to identify it on the map, or you're given the country's landmass and you have to identify that landmass. And so let's talk about the first one. Say you're given the name of the country, Iceland. So what should happen is you'll be like, Iceland, oh yeah, ice cube. So you should think of the image for the country's name. Then when you think of that image, it's going to trigger the story. And you're going to find the other image you have. So you're like, oh yeah, a ghost was riding the ice cube. And so once you have the country's landmass's image, all you have to do is look for that kind of image on the map. So you're like, okay, ghost, ghost, ghost. And so you're looking in Europe for the landmass that looks like a ghost. And when you find it, you know that that country is Iceland. So if you're given the geographical mass of, or if you're given the landmass of the country, all you have to do is this process in reverse. You're going to start with the landmass, then you're going to end up with the country's name. So now it's practice time. So I want to give you three different landmasses to three different countries, and you're going to try to create images for them. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds, but if you need more time, feel free to pause the video. So this is what Germany looks like. This is what Ireland looks like. This is what Finland looks like. So hopefully you were able to create images. If not, that's okay because you just learned this method. But I want to share with you the images I would have came up with for these different landmasses. So for Germany, when I look at Germany, to the right, I kind of see a mouth, and at the top, I see kind of two fins. So the image I would use is a fish. Now for Ireland, when I look at Ireland, at the top, I kind of see a head with hair and a bun. And then the bottom, the person kind of looks big. And so the image I would use for Ireland is a sumo wrestler. Now for Finland, right away when I see a lady in a dress. And so, of course, the image I would use is a lady in a dress. And so there you go. You just learned a very simple method on how to memorize a country's geography fast and easily. And it's okay if it takes you a little bit of time to create the images for the landmasses, because once you start getting into it, you're going to become a pro at seeing any landmass and creating an image out of it. I'm also going to include a link down below to a website where you can learn the geography of all the countries in the world. And so what's really cool about this website is that you can quiz yourself on it. So it will give you a country's name, and then you have to identify that country on the map. And so you can have a lot of practice with this method when you go to that website. So what are you waiting for? Go out there and start learning all the geographies of all the countries in the world. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to my channel for more videos on how to remember all sorts of information and how to improve your memory. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links to those are down below. If you want to learn all the memory techniques and learn how to apply them to all sorts of information, you can check out my memory improvement program. The link to that is down below as well. Also, if you want to start competing at memory competitions, you can check out my memory competition training program. You will learn absolutely everything you need to know to compete at your first or next memory competition. Look forward to my next video and get ready to get the best memory of your life.